All right. Hey, y'all. Happy Friday. So it's definitely going to take us 2 weeks or at least a week and a partial to get through. I am fearless. But let's move forward in defining and setting our boundaries of what kind of spirit God did give us. So we talked yesterday about the spirit of power, that we have received a spirit full of power, the same power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead, according to Romans 8:11, and that unlimited greatness of that power, that there is nothing beyond that power, as Ephesians 1:17, 18, 19 tell us. So the next definition, so we have a spirit of power and of love. That love there is agape, and that is love without fault, love without boundaries, that like there's nothing, you can walk in love. I'm going to tell you sometimes, I know you know this, walking in love ain't easy. And in those moments when I really don't want to walk in love, which spirit is that, right? So I mentioned who's got your soul, and we may have talked about this last week, but that's been something that Holy Spirit stopping me moment by moment throughout the day in my responses and my reactions and my thoughts and where I'm going with things. And he's like, who's got your soul? What's coming out of your mouth right now? Who's got your soul? This is exactly that. Who's got your soul? Right? Which spirit is governing your soul? And we talked about that, that the spirit of a person is where life is really found. Remember, let's go back to Monday, in Thayer's lexicon defines it in this way: the efficient source of power, affection, emotion, or desire. The source of any power, affection, emotion, or desire. So if I'm walking in fear, who's got my soul? Which spirit is in charge? The same thing here. If I'm walking out of love, and I absolutely 100% know that sometimes people don't deserve love. Guess what? Neither do we. And so it just doesn't matter. We are called to walk in love, but not only did the Father call us to walk in love, He empowered us to walk in love. He has not given us a spirit of hate and discord. He has given us His spirit of love. And so it's possible to love difficult people. That does not mean you allow them to walk all over you. That does not mean that you bring them into your home. That's not what it means at all. It means that you love them. You want good for them, right? You're not changing, you're not compromising, but you are not hateful either. It's walking in love. Jesus did that on both sides of the aisle, with those sinners and with those other sinners, the religious sinners who thought they weren't sinners. And so Jesus walked in love in that He called out the sin, right? He said, go and sin no more. This is over. Don't act like this anymore. He loved people. Matthew was despised tax collector. Jesus called him a disciple, changed his life. And the same thing with the Pharisees. He did not allow them to continue in this hateful pride and arrogance without calling them out and telling them, you think you're clean, but you're not. This is the way. And so on both sides, both calling out the Pharisees was out of love. I mean, my goodness, the only way to the Father is through Jesus. And so, they had to recognize sin and that our own efforts are not enough. And then for the blatant and obvious sinner, those people whom the Pharisees would call sinners, He said, don't do this anymore. Live different. Be more. I mean, Zacchaeus, again, a despised tax collector, came back and said, I will restore and give all. We're changed by knowing Jesus. And so we as his people are to follow his example, right? We are to imitate him. And so not in a belligerent or, beating over the head type way, but it is not love if you enable and continue to allow people to live in darkness. That's not love. Love is drawing and calling for change. And so it doesn't matter what the situation is, how badly someone may have mistreated you. God has given us a spirit that has the capability to walk in love. He has given us a spirit empowered to love. And that keeps us free from fear, right? That's being free. We will pick up here next week, still digging into I Am Fearless. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.